One of the hard things about being an insurance agent or insurance broker is that, well, frankly, it's hard to set appointments. There are several 100,000 competitors that you have out there, agents, brokers. There are captive, direct writers, independent, and it's frankly difficult to set appointments. It's difficult to win new business. It's difficult to really differentiate yourself after all is said and done. Let me ask you this. Rather than trying to sell insurance, today I want to ask you and talk a little bit about what if you weren't an insurance agent any longer selling insurance, but you were now seated on the insurance buyer side of the table as their unbiased, wholly independent insurance counselor, that they were paying directly for your expert advice rather than just slinging insurance policies. They were coming to you, asking you to help them figure it out, manage it for them, give them unbiased advice and counsel. Can you imagine what it would be like to be in the insurance industry when you were easily setting appointments? They were seeing you as somebody who's really providing a value and not merely a commodity. And frankly, what if you could make well over $100,000 to maybe $350,000 a year doing it? That's what today's podcast is going to be about. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to become an insurance consultant. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, Charles Specht here, the host of the Millionaire Insurance Producer Podcast. It is great to have you with us today, and today's going to be a little bit different. 100% today's going to be a little bit different. That's because I'm making a little bit of a pivot in my business. I'm not stopping to work with insurance agents by no means. I mean, that is a major aspect to what it is that I do. But the other side of my consulting practice is constructive risk, and that's where insurance buyers hire me and pay me a flat fee to manage the insurance and the competitive bid process on their behalf, to work with their agent or bring in some other agents so that they can offer quotes or just find a new agent for them. And what I typically find is that I've gotten to the point now where I know how to do that. I've gotten to the point where I've got plenty of clients. And I've gotten to the point where I've also completely maxed out now because I work with insurance agents. I've got agencies on retainer. I'm working with agents all across the United States and Canada and so forth. And I'm just very grateful for the position that I'm in. One of the things that I have been kicking around even pre-COVID is starting a network. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. It's going to be step one of this network. This network is going to have two halves. Okay. The first half of this network is what I'm going to talk about today, insurance consulting. The second half is going to be for insurance agencies that I bring on, and that's going to be a seriously selected number of agencies that I'm bringing on in order to take over the policies for these insurance buyers that are simply just asking me to, find them a new agent. I don't want to just try and find another agent. I want a select number who are focused in the micro niche area. They have the right services and so forth. And I just bring them in and they broker over the policies and service the account correctly going forward. That's coming. Stay tuned. It's going to be really good. I can't wait for that to happen. But that's only going to happen when stage one happens first. Today, I'm going to talk to you about step one, stage one. This is creating a network of insurance consultants. Now, what this means is, and I guess I need to kind of put a parenthesis around this. If you are currently employed by one of the agencies that is on retainer with me, I'm sorry, this won't be for you then. I know who my client is. I'm loyal to my client. I know who pays my checks, pays my invoices. And unfortunately, you just won't be available to this. It won't be available to you because I am working with my agency client. And so because it just wouldn't be then a good fit. But if you are not employed with an agency that's on retainer with me, then heads up, this could be something for you. This is going to be for property and casualty agents, and it's also for employee health benefits agents. I am focused on the entire commercial aspect. And so anything that has to do with commercial lines insurance, such as the EB, medical benefits, dental and so forth, work comp, auto, general liability, all of that, it comes together. And so I am creating a network of insurance consultants that are no longer having to sell insurance. They're now being hired by the insurance buyer and paid a flat fee to give them unbiased advice. So let me just ask you a couple things here. One, do you like the process of selling insurance? I would suspect you probably don't. I was an insurance broker for 10 years, so I know how it works. One of the things I hated about the insurance process were gathering loss runs. I mean, what a huge pain that is. Putting together the Accord apps. I would actually have to fill those things out by hand. Supplementals, figuring out which carriers it's going to, and do I have the right markets and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it was just a lot of time to gather all this data. And then sometimes some of the agents had to work with a marketing department or a marketing team. And you know what? They just never really cared for your business as much as you do. Sometimes they drop the ball, all that kind of stuff. Also just even from the underwriting side, sometimes something would be a slam dunk for the insurance carrier, and then you just find that the carrier's not going to write it, or their quote's really not that competitive. And so you've done all this work and, well, it's just not working out. I've been there. I've done that. I know how difficult that is. And frankly, I know how stressful that is. With that said, that's kind of like some of the stuff that sort of got me out of the selling insurance aspect and now working more with the insurance buyer. What I like being about an insurance consultant is a number of different things. I mean, frankly, I think that you can make as much money, if not considerably more money, being an insurance consultant than you can for being a typical insurance broker in the United States of America. But I don't have to ever gather loss runs. I don't have to put together Accord apps. I don't have to figure out if I have the right markets and all of that. You know, what I have to do is I have to figure out, does the agent have the loss runs? Does the agent got a good submission? Which agents, or which carriers rather, are the agents going to go to? Which ones am I going to give which carriers to? I mean, I didn't have to I don't have to do a lot of that data gathering. The incumbent agent's already got it. If I'm working on behalf of the insured, the incumbent agent has to send me that information just like they would send it to their client itself, because we're the same. We're basically the same. So I don't have to do all of that. And frankly, I don't have to worry about having the right carriers. I don't even necessarily have to be micro niched. I can do this for large health clubs, nursing homes, HVAC contractors, roofing contractors, large franchisees. It's all over the board. I just find the right carriers that have the right programs, that have the right carriers, and then I bring them in. And so it's just kind of a beautiful thing. If you ever get annoyed with the insurance process, this might be something for you. Becoming an independent insurance consultant. And so with that said, there's like maybe three kind of main things that I want to talk to you about that I feel are going to be a really good opportunity on why becoming an independent insurance consultant might be the right thing for you. One, there's just so few competitors that are out there. One of the hard parts about being an insurance agent is it's difficult to set appointments with insurance buyers. It's difficult for them to say, yes, I'll go ahead and give you an hour of my life to meet with a stranger to talk about insurance, and I've already got an agent. It's very difficult to get somebody to do that. There are a lot of competitors. In your geographic territory, there's no doubt 1,000, probably 5,000, maybe even 10,000 or more other insurance agents that are in your geographic territory that are calling on your clients, your prospects, and so forth. Therefore, the differentiation becomes very difficult. When it comes down to being an insurance consultant, I can almost, guarantee you that even if you're in a metropolitan area, we can probably count the insurance consultants on one hand. There are just not many insurance consultants out there that sort of do what I do and what I'm trying to propose that you might want to also do for your career going forward. Therefore, because there just isn't many of them out there, it is so much easier to get an insurance buyer to understand what it is that you do and what the value is to them. Look, it's hard, obviously, when you're an insurance agent because they think that you're all the same. From an insurance consultant's perspective, yep, it costs a little bit of amount of money up front, but it's a fixed fee. It never goes up. It never goes down. It's not tied to a commission. I don't make a commission, anything like that. And I provide an unbiased counsel to the insured, and I negotiate and renegotiate with the awarded insurance agent and carrier and negotiating the premiums down. There has never been a time ever, listen, there's never been a time since I've been doing this for the last 13 years where my fee has been more than what the insurance buyer saved. Typically, I'm doing this for accounts that pay anywhere, usually over $100,000 for premium, but it's usually like $150,000 to $200,000 is kind of like sort of the minimum on the accounts that I focus on. And, if I'm saving them 5%, I mean, that's, $10,000 just right off the top. And my fee usually is going to be at a minimum of $2,500. Normally on the high end, if an account's paying like say 750,000 of premium, my fee is usually going to be between say 20 and $25,000 for something of that amount. So we're talking about somewhere between 2,500 and we'll just call it $20,000. $2,500 to $20,000 is the fee that somebody is paying me for my advice, and I am typically giving them about a 5 to 10 times savings amount compared to what I'm actually charging them. This is normal. In fact, if you go to my website, constructiverisk.com, you will see that one of my main bragging statements, at least on my page, is that I could potentially save you up to 55% of your annual insurance costs. Why do I say 55%? Because so far, that's the most that I've ever saved a business by negotiating on their behalf. Normally, I'm somewhere between 11 and 17%, depending upon whether it's a standard carrier or in the surplus lines market. So 11 to 17% is usually where I'm at in regards to overall savings from my negotiation strategies, working with different markets and so forth. Frankly, after all said and done, if somebody's paying me, which I would say my average clients usually pay me about $6,000 a year, $6,000 a year, they're usually saving somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000 when I do my actual negotiation. What I'm trying to say here is that it's a no-brainer. You don't really have a lot of competition. And frankly, it's a whole lot easier for the insured to see why this is a no-brainer for them. It saves them money. It doesn't cost them money. It saves them a lot of money, and it costs them a small amount of money. It really is kind of a no-brainer. As an insurance consultant, what I have to get the insurance buyer to understand is that I don't sell insurance. I'm not a competitor with their agent. I don't have any carriers that I'm represented. I don't receive commissions. I don't receive contingencies. I don't get kickbacks. I don't get insurance agents that, pay for my lunch or anything like that. I am completely separate from the entire placing of insurance. I don't handle that whatsoever. I am completely unbiased. And because of that, the insured realizes that I'm on their team and not their agent's team. Therefore, I get a lot of trust. Therefore, they see the value, and therefore, they usually meet with me. It's a beautiful thing. And look, we're also going into a hard market where everybody's going to be paying significantly more this year than they were paying for last year. I mean, frankly, it's one thing to do it in a soft market where premiums are going down every year. When the premiums are going up every single year, look, this is exactly the right time to get into this. So you can actually save your insurance buyers a lot of money. You will help them with a significant amount of value. And you know this as well as I do, Mr. and Mrs. Insurance Agent, is that there's no agent out there that represents every carrier, period. You might have access to a few carriers. You might have access to 3 or 4 carriers. You might have access to 7. But if there's 17 out there writing the business, you don't have access to everybody. And even if there's only like 3 or 4 out there, you might have access to 1 or 2. And so I know this as well as you, that many times as the insurance agent, we might know there's another carrier out there that's really good. And we're not going to go to our client and say, you know what, you should also get a quote from my competitor over here and get a quote from that company. Nope. We don't do that, which is also sort of that quasi-ethical issue, that dilemma that I never liked, which is why being on this side of the table, being an unbiased counselor, advisor to the insured, I get to go and work with the agents that represent all the carriers that I know that are going to be competitive for this class of business. Therefore, no stone is being unturned. I'm looking under everything, and I see it all. It's a beautiful thing. You provide a tremendous amount of value to your client. You are really, at the end of the day, looking yourself in the mirror and knowing that 100% your client got the very best deal possible out in the marketplace. It's beautiful. Now, there's just a lot less carriers out there, right? Which is why this is actually a whole lot easier for you to get the business. It is very much easier for you to get the insurance buyer to meet with you because they're seeing the value. As I said, I really don't feel that there's any reason whatsoever why an insurance agent's not going to make at least $100,000 doing this, even in their first year. And that's if they're going after smaller business. Okay? Even if they're going after smaller business. But at the end of the day, I mean, frankly, there's really also no reason why you're probably not going to be able to write about $250,000 in personal income every single year if you do this. And like I said, you're not having to gather a whole bunch of data. I actually do all of this business virtually. I never go and meet with these accounts. I don't ever go and sit down with them face to face. I do 100% everything virtually. I have clients all over the country. I have clients in California. I have them in South Carolina. I have them in Texas and so forth. I'm not going to go meet with all these business owners. I don't have to necessarily go and meet with anybody. You don't either. It's a completely different business, a completely different transaction. You are not limited by your geographic territory. You are not limited by the types of appointments that you and your agency have. You are not limited by the lack of services that you have compared to maybe your competitors. It's a different world. I really feel that if we can do this correctly, they're going to make a shift, a disruption in the marketplace. This is going to be a really, really good thing for everybody who becomes an insurance consultant, but specifically for all of the insurance buyers that are out there. Now, let me also just say, I would say that on average, let's just call it around 50%. 50% of my clients that hire me as their unbiased insurance counselor to represent them and manage the whole insurance renewal bid process, they hire me, but they don't really even want to switch their agent. They don't necessarily want to change their agent. They might not want to change their agent at all. I've had people hire me who like their agent or their brother-in-law is the agent and so forth. They just want to make sure that the agent is doing the right job, doing a good job. And if not, give them some understanding on what a good job is going to be going forward. And so I actually do this while I have the intent. We're not actually going to be even working with any other agents, because I can go through this process, and even with the hint of competition, I know that I am going to be getting that agent to dot his I's, cross his T's, or have her jump through every single hoop that needs to be done in order to get the best result for my client, the insurance buyer. And so I don't have to bring in other agents to go through the quoting process, because it's a big waste of time. I would rather work with one agent to go out into the marketplace to represent the insured, but it's the threat, the hint of competition that I bring into the table that actually makes the insurance agent do a good job. 100%. I mean, frankly, after all is said and done, once I am hired and I have that first initial contact, I do an interview with the current broker just to kind of let them know what's going on. I interview them to find out what markets they have and so forth. They're basically put on notice that they know that they're going to have to compete for some business this year, and they're going to have to do a really good job. And at the end of the day, the insurance buyer gets a much better result having an insurance consultant rather than just trusting one agent that they don't really know even has a good relationship with the underwriters that's out there. It's just a much better process. So you make a whole lot more money. As I say, I think the average account, probably pays me, I would say, well, just on an annual retainer, $6,000. I usually have about a $1,500 or $2,500 upfront fee to sort of get the process going. So like for the first year, let's call it $7,500. $7,500 after all said and done. 10 clients over the course of the year, $7,500 that you're bringing in just from personal income. And again, you're not an insurance agent, so we're not quoting here. You're not having to try and get people. 10 accounts in a year is nothing. And it's frankly nothing. You might be able to get 10 clients in the course of about 2 or 3 months after all is said and done. Literally, you're going to be able to make 6 figures in this business, no problem. What's also nice about this is that it has very minimal expenses. I have E&O. My E&O probably costs, about $2,000 because I'm not a normal insurance agent. My E&O doesn't have the same exposure. It doesn't even cost much. I don't have any, I'm not responsible for, even in my contract with the clients, I'm not responsible for coverages. I can't ensure they're even going to get the right coverages. I don't know what carriers are out there, offering anything. So I'm not actually having the same even exposure from that. I just do this out of my own home office. I don't actually have to have a place of business where clients come in and out and so forth. I don't need account managers or a marketing department or workers' compensation claims managers or, CSRs or receptionists. I don't have to have all that. Because at the end of the day, it's the insurance agent who has to put everything together, go out to the marketplace, have all these appointments, all that stuff that needs to be done. And I'm the person who's like the quarterback, and I manage it after all is said and done. So it has very limited expenses. The overall profit on being an insurance consultant is significantly higher from what I do versus your normal insurance agent or brokerage. Okay. Now, the only sort of downside to this compared to maybe being an insurance agent is the likelihood of residuals. Now, most of my clients renew year after year. Um, I have some that just do like one time, or maybe they'll skip a year and then they'll do the third year. So I do a year, skip a year, they come back and do another year, skip a year, come back. But I would say more often than not, I would say maybe about 70% or so, like, will hire me again for the same service that I received last year. But it's not like an insurance policy where you have that policy that renews every single year and you've got the client unless they choose to do business elsewhere. The insured doesn't have to do business with me, but the nice part about it is that the insured does do business with me because they save money every single year after all said and done. And even if, let's say, you can't do any sort of premium savings, okay, from when the insured really gets his or her quotes for the first time, I basically provide three main things to the insured. Three main things. Can you guess what they are? Three main things. You probably heard me say this a lot of different times, but I get three main things. I give them three main things. One, the insurance buyer is going to save a considerable amount of his or her time because I'm the one that's handling it and managing it on their behalf. I'm keeping the insured abreast of what's happening. I am involving them in important emails so they can see what's happening and so forth. But at the end of the day, I'm the one that's handling it. I'm steering the boat. I'm steering the ship. I'm doing the negotiating. I'm answering the questions for the agents and so forth. And so the insured does not have to meet with agents. They don't have to do all that kind of stuff. So frankly, they are saving a lot more time by having me do it so they can actually do their own business. That's the first thing. The second thing is that it's saving them saving them a lot on premium. Just overall cost. Okay, so it's not even just a premium aspect. It's deductibles, self-insured retentions, it's claims, it is rate, it's audits, it's how we're negotiating even on the audits. It's me bringing in the right insurance agents to take over the policy that's going to help the insured lower their claims because of safety management and insurance consulting, risk management services, workers' compensation, things like that. And again, we do this both for property and casualty, and I do it on benefits as well. And so the thing is that it's going to lower the overall insurance cost significantly. So it helps the insured save a lot of time. It helps them lower their costs dramatically. And at the end of the day, even if I didn't save them any time, even if I didn't save them any money, they receive one of the most important aspects, and that's peace of mind. They know that at the end of the process, they ended up getting the absolute lowest premium possible and the best coverage that they could get for their insurance budget available in the marketplace. They know that they got the best deal because they worked with me. They know they got the right insurance agents to work on it. They got the most quotes they could possibly get from the insurance marketplace, whatever it is. At the end of the day, they know that the process, they can step back and realize that it was absolutely worth it to have that peace of mind. Because again, remember, I'm typically doing this for accounts that are going to generate around a couple $100,000 of premium after all is said and done. And so it's not like it's a small amount of premium. Again, I would say on average, my lowest clients are like $100,000, and my typical, say, large clients are, say, $600,000 and above in premium. I mean, I've had some clients where they've got $5 million in premium, between all their policies. So like very, very large accounts with captives and so forth, but that's kind of like not normal. But I would say somewhere between $100,000 and say $600,000 of your normal property and casualty premiums, and then plus everything else you got on the EB side. You will provide the insurance buyer a lot of peace of mind knowing that they got the best deal possible, paid the lowest amount of premium, got the best policy with the right agent to provide the right services. And at the end of the day, they can look themselves in the mirror and know that they didn't have to spend more for insurance than they could have. That peace of mind, I feel, is more important than many times the time or the money that's saved. But you know what? The money that is saved is one of the main reasons why they will choose to meet with you in the first place. So look, when I would say we, as insurance consultant, I help the insurance buyer figure out their insurance program by them not having to actually handle it themselves any longer. They get somebody who truly understands the process. Because I was an insurance agent for 10 years, I don't take advantage of insurance agents. I will tell an insurance agent right off the bat, if this is a broker of record letter opportunity or not, or, if they're going to quote, they've got an opportunity here. I never bring in agents just to offer quotes. That's a waste of time. I always tell my client, if I'm bringing in an agent to quote, it's because you're giving them an opportunity to win the business, right? I mean, otherwise we're not doing it. And I don't waste agents' time. Every agent that I work with has a true opportunity to win this business, but I normally try to work even through a broker of record letter process because I just think that it's cleaner. So at the end of the day, I help the insurance buyer, but I also help a lot of agents. I help agents win new business. I help the best agents rise to the top. I even sometimes will work with the same agents on multiple accounts just because I know that they understand the business and I can feel comfortable with their servicing team. And I know that they are qualified and that they represent certain carriers. And so I can begin even having relationships with them that I know that they're going to go to the right markets and they're going to give me what I'm looking for. And it works really well. So at the end of the day, nobody loses in this scenario. Unless you're the incumbent agent that's just doing a bad job, frankly, you're going to lose in that particular situation. But otherwise, the agent gets a really good process through this, has a real good shot. Nobody's being used as the honesty cop in this situation. The insurance buyer is getting a very good deal here. They're lowering their costs. They're saving their time. They're getting peace of mind. And frankly, I'm making a pretty good living myself, doing what I do. And like I said, $100,000 to about $350,000 is probably what you can expect in the first year when you're doing this based upon the size of the accounts that you're going after. But literally, there's no way you're making less than $100,000 doing this. No way. It's just not happening. You will make a significant amount of money. And frankly, even those numbers, $100,000 to $350,000, was based upon, I would say, last year and the year before that premium. You and I both know that we're going into a hard market here. You and I both know that accounts are paying significantly more for insurance this next year than they were last year. And I don't know about you. I don't have a crystal ball, but I don't see the hard market going away anytime soon. I kind of get the feeling that it's going to be at least 3 to 5 years before something changes. Again, elections, all of that have to come into place. But frankly, I actually think that probably 3 years from now, the average account's probably going to be paying close to about double, if not significantly more than that, than what they were paying for insurance last year. At the end of the day, the amount that I typically charge, the typical insurance buyer that's out there, again, depending on lots of different factors, is somewhere between 1.5% to 3.5% of their overall insurance premiums. So if somebody is paying me, let's just call it 3%, I'm charging them 3%, but saving them 11%. I'm charging them 3%, but I'm saving them 17%. I'm charging them 3%, but I'm saving them 55%. Do you understand why this becomes a no-brainer for the typical insurance buyer to meet with you? Now let's get into the actual ask here. This is why you need to reach out to me, is because I'm setting this up so that I'm going to be working with a very exclusive number of people who want to become insurance consultants. That's it. If you want to actually come and do this, I will teach you. I will train you. You will be part of my group. There's going to be a little bit of a cost to get into it, but it's not going to be really that significant. But frankly, I'm going to be giving exclusivity in regards to the territory where they live. There's only going to be maybe just a couple of these per state, and that's it. We're going to be really focused on what we do. We're going to be creating some programs, getting agency and association endorsements so that they will even endorse you. And look, I'm going to be giving you everything, the contract, the marketing plan. I'm actually going to be marketing to insurance buyers and then just giving them to you when they're in your state. I'm going to show you how to actually go out and prospect. I'm going to show you actually how to go out and actually get the endorsement from various associations and so forth if you want to do that. I'm going to help you create a career that you're not just paying the bills and maybe a little bit more, but you are creating wealth. At the end of the day, this is going to help your family. This is going to help you achieve what you want. You can work as hard as you want by doing this. You can work as little as you want by doing this. Okay, I want to even try to get very clear with you here. I'm not saying this to try and brag by any means or anything like that. Okay, this isn't a brag moment. This is just what it is. I am able to do what I do less than half time because I work for a nonprofit that I really enjoy, and that's what I'm passionate about. So I do my consulting company less than half time, and I make over $300,000 just doing that. Yeah, you can make a lot of money doing this consulting stuff. And if you really focus on putting your all into it, you're going to make a ton of money. And that's not even taken into consideration yet the hard market. If you're interested in figuring out if this could be something for you, you need to reach out to me. I'm predominantly doing this for individual people. And just as an FYI, if you're going into this, this means that you're likely getting out of the insurance sales side of it. You can't be wholly independent if you're trying to play both sides of the coin. Sorry, that's not how it works. However, this can work for certain agencies that are trying to figure out how to have sort of a risk management department that's providing that service while also having other insurance agents and producers out there going out and selling the normal insurance product. So look, after all said and done, this can work for any insurance agent, and I feel it could also be a pretty good fit for sort of a small, medium-sized agency that wants to be able to do this through their agency as well. Here's what you need to do if you are interested. You got to send me an email. Go to my website, constructiverisk.com, CONSTRUCTIVE, constructive risk, RISK.com, or just send me an email at cspect@constructiverisk.com, CSPECHT@constructiverisk.com. Send me the email. I initially sent out on social media, LinkedIn this morning, that I was doing this. So I put out my LinkedIn post around like 7:30 a.m. At 10:30 a.m., I sent an email to a bunch of insurance agents that I have. So far, look, it's just like the beginning of the afternoon here, and I've got about 50 insurance agents who've already responded to me that they're interested. It's going to be on a first come, first serve basis. Once your territory is already like given to somebody else and they have paid for it and so forth, sorry, you're out. Too bad. The exclusive territory is what it is. If you want in, you better hurry up. If it's too late, you might be too late forever. This is what I'm focusing on. This is step one before I open everything up then for my insurance agencies. Because eventually what's going to happen is that all these insurance consultants are going to be able to access the insurance agencies. They're going to focus on the certain micro niches that we're going after as consultants in regards to lots of different industries, such as nursing homes, contractors, different manufacturers, trucking accounts, captive business, lots of different things that we're all going to focus on in regards to our unique insurance consulting and our micro niche. And we're going to find the agents that want to focus in that area. And frankly, lots of people are going to make a lot of money while lots of business owners are going to pay a lot less for insurance. It's going to be a beautiful thing. If you're interested, get in contact with me. Reach out on LinkedIn if you need to. Send me a direct message. I'll give you my email address, but you got to get me an email. That's how I'm keeping track of it right now, just because I'm sort of getting bombarded, at least with a lot of people who have initial interest. My name is Charles Specht. I'm the president and CEO of Permission Network Insurance Agency, LLC, where I teach and train insurance agents how to build a $1 million or more book of business through signed broker of record letters. This is the Millionaire Insurance Producer Podcast.